Speaking of a loss, got a major injury out west. Lakers guard Austin Reaves, a grade 2 strain in his left calf muscle. We got Dave McMenamin on it. He's expected to miss around 4 weeks before he's reevaluated the calf issue. A bit of a repeat offender now.
Austin Reaves just went down with a grade 2 calf strain that's going to keep him out at least a month. And the Lakers' response to losing their second leading scorer has everyone questioning what they're actually doing. JJ Redick called an uncomfortable practice. LeBron looks completely disengaged, and the team is falling apart defensively. What the Lakers decide to do next could determine whether they even make the playoffs. Have you ever watched a team lose a key player and then make the worst possible decisions in response? Comment below, because the Lakers are about to show us exactly what panic looks like when your season is hanging by a thread and your superstar looks like he doesn't want to be there anymore.
Reaves recently missing 3 games because of a mild calf strain in that left leg. He's averaging nearly 27 points per this season.
And those Lakers, they're actually in the top half of the Western Conference tables.
So Austin Reaves is out for at least 4 weeks with a grade 2 calf strain in his left leg. And this is basically a disaster for the Lakers on multiple levels. Reaves was having a career year, averaging 26.6 points per game, looking like a lock for his first All-Star appearance, maybe sneaking into Most Improved Player consideration, possibly even getting some All-NBA buzz. All of that is now out the window because of an injury to the same calf that already caused him to miss 3 games earlier this season with a mild strain.
Senior writer David Dennis Jr. this morning. David, fantastic to see you. Good morning. How big of an impact will Austin Reaves' injury have on these Lakers?
Well, first, I got to talk about what this impact will be on Austin Reaves. You kind of feel for the guy. 11th highest scorer in the league. He was probably going to be an all-star, maybe most improved player, maybe sneak into the all-NBA there. That's probably all out the window with just all the time missed.
The timing couldn't be worse for LA. They're currently sitting in the 4th seed in the Western Conference, which sounds decent until you realize how precarious that position is. They're barely above .500. Their point differential suggests they're not as good as their record indicates, and now they're losing the guy who was their second leading scorer for at least a month. ESPN's Dave McMenamin broke the news, and the immediate reaction from analysts was that this could drop the Lakers into a play-in spot by the time Reaves returns.
But for the Lakers, this could not have come at a worse time. Luka is slumping right now. JJ Redick is throwing temper tantrums after every game. And the team is outscored by 59 points with LeBron James on the court. The team is worse offensively and defensively without Reaves.
David Dennis Jr. from Anscape laid out exactly how bad this is. This could not have come at a worse time. JJ Redick is throwing temper tantrums after every game, and the team is outscored by 59 points with LeBron James on the court. Let that last part sink in. The Lakers are worse when their supposed best player is on the floor. That's not a supporting cast problem, that's a LeBron problem.
This puts more pressure on LeBron, who looks older than he's ever been, puts more pressure on Luka. This Lakers team defense has fallen absolutely off a cliff. I would not be surprised if by the time Austin Reaves comes back, they are looking up from a play-in spot and not in the 4th seed where they are right now.
Oh, from a play-in spot in just about a month's time.
8 games
All right.
above 500 right now.
Remember, today's going to be an uncomfortable practice for JJ Redick and company. Redick said so himself yesterday.
Kendrick Perkins added another layer to this mess when he pointed out that LeBron looked completely disengaged during the Christmas Day game. The LeBron James that I saw on Christmas night was not an engaged LeBron James, Perkins said. And he's right. Anyone watching that game could see LeBron going through the motions, not providing the leadership or energy the team needs. And now, with Reaves out, LeBron is going to have to pick up even more of the offensive load, while also somehow finding the motivation to care again.
Did it change the messaging at all, or how does it change what you guys do going forward?
It doesn't change the messaging. I mean, we've been dealing with this all season, so it's not. I don't look at this as any different. We've had guys out. Braun was out for the first 4 weeks of the season, so I think the nature of this team sport is that we need all participants giving their best at all times, and if you can get that, you have a chance to win regardless of injuries.
The Lakers' response to this crisis is what has everyone talking. JJ Redick announced that the day after Reaves' injury was diagnosed, the team would have an uncomfortable practice. Redick himself used that word, uncomfortable. He said they're going to put everything on the table and have some real conversations about what's going wrong. Which sounds good in theory, except that calling out your team publicly before the practice even happens is usually a sign that things have already spiraled out of control.
You talked about uncomfortable truths, uncomfortable choices that players need to make. As a coach, are there ever uncomfortable choices that you need to make in terms of either the way you talk to these guys, floor combinations that maybe you're not as comfortable with, but you know this player brings X and I know I need X, things like that?
Yeah, again, it's hard in terms of lineups. Like, you know, our guys upstairs have told us 250 minutes is like this sort of target number for when a lineup data set starts to normalize. And so, you know, you can look at 11. Oh, this 11 minutes. You know, it's like there's one lineup. Oh, this is 11 minutes, and it was like, yeah, well, we played small ball for one game, and they played well that game. And it's like, you can't take a ton from that.
Think about what Redick is dealing with here. He's a first-year head coach trying to manage a roster that includes 40-year-old LeBron James, who looks older than he's ever looked and clearly doesn't have the same energy or engagement level he used to have. And now he's lost Austin Reaves, who was the one guy consistently producing at a high level. The defensive issues are particularly alarming. The Lakers' defense has fallen absolutely off a cliff, according to David Dennis Jr., and the numbers back that up. They're getting torched by teams they should be competitive with. Their perimeter defense is non-existent. Their interior defense isn't much better. And without Reaves, who is actually one of their better defensive players, they're going to struggle even more on that end of the floor. Here's what makes this situation even worse. LeBron at age 40 can't be expected to carry the offensive load every single night. The supporting cast isn't capable of stepping up consistently. This roster has fundamental problems that aren't getting solved by one uncomfortable practice. Perkins made another excellent point about what this injury means for LeBron specifically. Austin Reaves was that second guy, that Robin to the Batman, and we saw LeBron James taking the back seat. So now it's up to JJ Redick and the coaching staff to make sure they get LeBron James with his positive energy, get him back engaged again. But here's the problem with that analysis. How do you force a 40-year-old superstar to be engaged when he clearly doesn't want to be? LeBron has been in the league for over 2 decades. He's won 4 championships. He's accomplished literally everything there is to accomplish in basketball. He's playing with his son Bronny, which was his stated goal. At this point in his career, is he really going to suddenly find new motivation because Austin Reaves got hurt? Or is this going to be the excuse he uses to check out even more because the roster isn't good enough? The front office has to be panicking right now. They built this team around keeping LeBron happy, which meant signing Bronny and constructing a roster that LeBron approved of. And now that roster is falling apart with injuries and underperformance, and LeBron himself looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. What do you even do in that situation? You can't trade LeBron. The optics would be terrible and he has too much power. You can't bench him because he's still producing decent numbers even if the team is worse with him on the floor. You're just stuck hoping he figures out his motivation issues on his own. The uncomfortable practice Redick mentioned is going to be fascinating. What's he going to say? Hey guys, we need to play better defense and LeBron, you need to care more. That's not going to go over well. You can't call out a player of LeBron's stature publicly, even in a closed practice. And if you're not calling him out specifically, then what's the point of the uncomfortable conversation? Everyone knows where the problems are coming from. David Dennis Jr. predicted that by the time Austin Reaves comes back, the Lakers could be looking up at a play-in spot rather than sitting comfortably in the 4th seed. That's not hyperbole. That's a realistic assessment of where this team is headed. They've got a brutal schedule coming up. They're losing their second-best scorer for a month, and their best player is visibly disengaged. How many games can they realistically win in that situation? The comparison to other teams in the Western Conference makes this even more stark. The Thunder are dominating. The Spurs have won 8 straight and are emerging as legitimate contenders. The Nuggets still have Jokic playing at an MVP level. The Suns have figured things out with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Where do the Lakers fit in that hierarchy? They're clearly not in the elite tier. They're probably not even in the 2nd tier anymore. They're fighting for a play-in spot, and that's with everyone healthy. Without Reaves for a month, they could easily fall out of playoff position entirely. Reaves was averaging nearly 27 points per game, and that production has to come from somewhere. The Lakers don't have a deep bench. They don't have role players who can suddenly start scoring 15 to 20 points per game. Max Christie or Rui Hachimura stepping up is nice, but they're not replacing what Reaves provides. D'Angelo Russell has been inconsistent all season. Gabe Vincent hasn't been healthy or effective. Where are the points coming from? Perkins emphasized that the Lakers gotta get their stuff together, starting with that practice. But getting stuff together requires having the pieces to work with. This roster has fundamental flaws that can't be fixed with better communication or increased effort. They're not athletic enough on the perimeter. They don't have enough shooting. Their defense requires personnel they don't have. And their best player is 40 years old and looks like he's running on fumes emotionally. The calf injury being a repeat issue for Reaves is also concerning. He already missed 3 games with a mild calf strain in the same leg. Now it's a grade 2 strain, which is significantly more serious. Calf injuries are tricky. They can linger, they can flare up again, and they can affect other parts of the leg if a player compensates incorrectly. Even when Reaves comes back after 4 weeks, is he going to be at 100%? Or is he going to be playing cautiously, worried about re-injury? The Lakers' championship window has basically slammed shut at this point. They won in 2020 with LeBron and AD in the bubble. Since then, they've been first-round exits, play-in teams, or missing the playoffs entirely. This season looked like it might be different when they started 19-7, but that was fool's gold. Their point differential was barely positive even during that stretch. They were winning close games that could have easily gone the other way. Now the losses are piling up, the regression to the mean is happening, and they're losing key players to injury. JJ Redick's situation is particularly tough. He's a first-time head coach who's already dealing with more drama than most coaches face in their entire careers. He's got a disengaged superstar, an injured second option, a slumping third option, and a roster that can't defend anybody. What's he supposed to do with that? The X's and O's only matter so much when your players aren't executing and your best player doesn't seem to care. The front office also has to be considering whether they need to make moves before the trade deadline. But what moves can they make? They don't have valuable assets to trade. They could try to upgrade the supporting cast, but with what assets? Future picks they've already traded away? Young players they don't have? This roster is basically stuck as currently constructed. The elephant in the room is whether LeBron even wants to be in LA anymore. He's looked unhappy all season. The body language has been terrible. He's not providing leadership or vocal direction the way he used to. And now with Reaves out and the season potentially slipping away, does LeBron just mentally check out completely? Does he start thinking about where he wants to be next season? Does he force another trade demand? Austin Reaves being out for a month exposes every flaw the Lakers have been trying to hide all season. LeBron is disengaged, the defense is terrible, and JJ Redick is calling uncomfortable practices that probably won't fix anything. This team is headed for a play-in spot at best, and the championship window everyone talked about never actually existed.